My name is Diana Dirkby, and I live with paranoid schizophrenia. The soundbite that you just heard is an extract from Henry VIII's composition, Pastime with Good Company. That seems to me a nice way to start a podcast, because hopefully we're going to have a pastime with good company. So today we will discuss anosognosia and the LEAP method. So what is anosognosia? It's from the Greek to be unaware. NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, replies to this question on their website, and I quote, "When we talk about anosognosia in mental illness, we mean that someone is unaware of their own mental health condition or that they can't perceive their condition accurately. Anosognosia is a common symptom of certain mental illnesses, perhaps the most difficult to understand for those who have never experienced it." The mental health advocacy group, the Schizophrenia and Psychosis Action Alliance, replies to this question on their website, and I quote, "Anosognosia is a neurological symptom that prevents people living with schizophrenia and related brain diseases from understanding they have the disease. An estimated 57% to 98% of people living with schizophrenia experience anosognosia, which is the most common barrier to a person's seeking what can be life-saving medical care. Anosognosia often causes a person with schizophrenia to refuse treatment, which can lead to severe negative health outcomes, including reducing a person's life expectancy by an average of 28.5 years. Anosognosia also increases the risk of homelessness and arrest. Anosognosia is a cruel condition that stands in the way of effectively treating schizophrenia and psychosis disorders, says Dr. Xavier Amador, the CEO of the Henry Amador Center on Anosognosia. The more we understand it, the more successful we will be in overcoming its impact and getting people the treatment they need and deserve. What is LEAP? LEAP is a method founded and developed by Dr. Xavier Amador, the doctor we just mentioned in the last quote, designed to empower you to help someone you know accept treatment for their mental illness. It is by now a mainstream method that has given rise to many people trained in its practice and is widely successful in helping those with anosognosia accept treatment. LEAP is an acronym, and it stands for, so we have LEAP. L is for listen, E is for empathize, A is for agree, and P is for partner. Dr. Xavier Amador has written a groundbreaking and important book about anosognosia and LEAP. It is now in its 20th anniversary edition and is entitled, "I Am Not Sick. I Don't Need Help. How to Help Someone Accept Treatment, 20th Anniversary Edition." It's available from Amazon.com and is also an audiobook on the app Audible. This book is not the only valuable one written by Xavier Amador, but it is the best place to start if you want to learn more about the approach to handling anosognosia via LEAP. Recent exciting news from this year. The Schizophrenia and Psychosis Action Alliance has formed a strategic collaboration with the Henry Amador Center on Anosognosia and the LEAP Institute to create the Anosognosia Coalition, whose goals are to raise insights into and awareness of the destructive condition of anosognosia and create policies to reduce its negative impact on people living with schizophrenia and psychosis disorders. Like the Henry Amador Center on Anosognosia, the LEAP Institute is an outgrowth of the method of Xavier Amador. Let's say a little more about the words LEAP stands for. So here I use as a reference an Australian website, MHR4C, run by Carers Queensland Carer Advisory Service. So LEAP, L-E-A-P. L is for listen. Listen with only one goal: to understand the other person's point of view and reflect your understanding back to them. Effective listening involves sitting back and listening to the frustrations, fears, hopes, and dreams of the person you care for, and repeating back your understanding of what has been said. You can use effective listening to stop yourself offering your opinion or advice. E, empathize. If you want someone to seriously consider your point of view, be certain they feel you have seriously considered theirs. To empathize with another is to identify their feelings, thoughts, and attitudes. To convey your empathy to the person for who you are caring, you have to acknowledge that their delusional beliefs may be frightening, their desire to prove they are not sick, their wish to avoid treatment. A is for agree. When you are facing someone who rigidly holds irrational beliefs, you gain nothing by disagreeing. It is important to reach an agreement. To do this, discuss only problems or symptoms perceived by the person you care for. Review advantages and disadvantages of treatment. Reflect back and highlight the perceived benefits. If need be, agree to disagree on some things. And finally, P is for partner. When you share the same goals, you can work together instead of being at odds. You can partner by moving towards goals you both agree can be worked on together. You can also partner by agreeing on goals that challenge the person you care for to step outside their comfort zone, but are still within their ability to achieve. If you want to know more about anosognosia and LEAP, I strongly urge you to read or listen to the book recommended above by Xavier Amador, namely, I Am Not Sick, I Don't Need Help, How to Help Someone Accept Treatment. How is today's discussion related to schizophrenia as I live it? In my book, The Overlife, A Tale of Schizophrenia, both Jodie and her daughter Sarah suffer from anosognosia. However, the background to this condition and its manifestation in the two characters of my novel is extremely different, giving an example of how subtle anosognosia can be. I don't want to give away too much of the book, so let me talk about my own experience, schizophrenia as I live it. During a psychotic break, I am disconnected from reality, but I still have a vivid personal reality. As my symptoms are so convincing, the natural reaction is for me to assume that everyone else is living that same reality. Therefore, I am not sick. What I am undergoing is a consequence of some major shift in the world around me. As my delusions are often persecutory, the unfair and unreasonable people are the persecutors, not myself. They need to be restrained, not me. After many years of repeated psychotic breaks, I eventually found a psychiatrist who prescribed medication that helps attenuate my symptoms if I struggle. With the help also of my psychologist, since the relative success of the medication, I have gained a certain objectivity that enables me to self-analyze and turn to my doctors if the world goes weird. It is still, for all that effort and good doctoring, at times a mammoth effort to cope with my symptoms and recognize that my reality may be faulty. In my case, my anosognosia is partial. I would term it as anosognosia with doctors. I did not for many years acknowledge I was sick, but I knew something was wrong. So I did go to see doctors about it. However, over a period of many years, the visits to doctors were too unsustained and not that helpful, as they focused on the PTSD I have from childhood experiences and tried to blame my problems on that. Therefore, I was suffering from anosognosia, but was still open to medical advice, even though for many years that advice fell short. My delusions and symptoms have always been so real that part of any bad downturn I have in my mental health will be an initial stage of anosognosia despite the medical help. However, as my current doctors work at it and help attenuate the symptoms, I can pull out of it and return to a good life. My mother, who also lived with schizophrenia, spent her whole life with anosognosia and never admitted she had a psychiatric or psychological problem, even when confronted by others with the worst excesses of her behaviour. Everyone's experience of mental illness is unique, so it's not surprising that anosognosia wears many different coats. Certainly the LEAP method is a revolutionary contribution to the struggle against it. Thank you for listening.